How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the House of Business Podcast at 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. Hope everyone's having a great day today. We are coming live from New York City as usual out here in Harlem. Hope everyone's day was blessed, was beautiful on this Saturday. I just want to start this episode off with gratitude as I usually do. So I would like to thank everyone for listening to these videos. I would like for you to like, share, and subscribe to these videos and to this channel as well. I'm just grateful, man. I'm just grateful. I cannot complain. Sometimes when you get in those places in life. Now, this episode, I'm going to tell you, this episode is called Winning in the Long Game. And there's no better time for me to share this experience or share my knowledge in this particular episode than now at this particular time in my life. But I want you to know, man, just being grateful changes the whole dynamic of any situation. There's always something to be grateful for. You don't have to wait till Thanksgiving to be thankful. You don't have to wait till the holidays to come up with these New Year's resolutions. You can start right now and say, I'm going to make it a priority to be grateful for everything in my life and not focus on everything that's wrong, but everything that's going right. And a lot of times, I heard someone say that when things are falling apart, they're really falling in place. So be grateful, man. Be grateful, man, that you're alive. Be grateful that you have another chance to be a father. Be grateful that you have another day to be a mother. Be grateful that you have another day to use your gifts to make the world a better place. Be grateful that you have a business to be able to use that business as a vehicle to create generational wealth, but also to engage in community relief efforts as well. So this is called Winning in the Long Game. So I'm going to have 3 points as I usually do. We always have 3 points here, and I like to keep it at 3 points because I can go on and on and on once I get started on a conversation. And once you get started on a conversation, you never know where these things might lead. But let me give you the proper introduction. This is the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson, and this is a place where we give you the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and your visions. Like I said, this episode is called Winning in the Long Game. So our first point here is short-term wins don't equal long-term success. So short-term wins don't equal long success. But I've learned that chasing quick wins can feel good in the moment, but it doesn't build anything that lasts. So this is basically, I'm going to give you an analogy here. It's like someone who's making quick cash. But they're not using the cash. Every time they use the cash, they're not reinvesting. They're getting those small, quick wins, but they're not really building generational wealth. They don't have a structure set in place to reinvest back into the company. They don't have a structure set in place to buy assets and then rent those assets, whether it's real estate or find some kind of way to monetize certain things or have basically a strategy to make sure that there is a continual cash flow. So that is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about chasing those quick wins. Now, there's a difference between chasing quick wins and getting those. I always talk about. I like the small wins that build momentum. Now, the small wins that build momentum, those are the ones that you want because you're headed towards a bigger goal, and you're using those small wins as stepping stones for a bigger picture, or as small brush strokes in a bigger painting. When the entire painting is done, then you can see exactly what's going on. You can see the bigger picture. But that's the thing. I did learn that chasing those quick wins can feel good in the moment, but it doesn't build anything that lasts unless we talk about getting those small wins. I had another episode when I was talking about getting those small wins. Those small wins matter. Getting up on time, it matters. Putting in work every day, it matters. Studying different types of criteria that helps you to build value so that you can be more of an asset as a leader, or even as an employee, or even as a manager, or any area that you work in any sector, any business sector that you work in. So, but I've also had to train myself to think beyond today and focus on where I want to be years from now. And, some days, my best decisions came from slowing down and choosing long-term stability over fast results. There could have been many a times where I could have taken a lot of deals. I could have taken $1 million deals. I could have took a deal from, the UAE, a lot of deals in Abu Dhabi, a lot of deals dealing with you know, just a lot of different groups of people. Let me put it like that. I had a lot of deals from London that came in. Even a guy that worked at Barclays that had a position in that bank in London also wanted to invest into my company. But one thing is that I could have taken those investments. I could have taken those. And I had an investment strategy, and I had certain things I could have got in, I could have got out. But the thing is this: a lot of times people don't really look at the values of the moral of the person that they're in collaboration with, and a lot of times that while you're paying this person back, or while you're going through certain transactions with individuals. See, just like I could have taken a deal with a certain group that was in Abu Dhabi over there, but something happened in between that time, and that could have fell back on my company. That could have completely dismantled my brand awareness, or dismantle the just say the solidity, or what I mean, the foundation of my business. It could have just totally tore it apart. So just being in collaboration with that particular group, or that particular group of people that had some heat fall on them, just from some things that they were doing. So I'm glad I didn't take that investment. I'm glad that I stuck it out. I waited. I didn't try to rush anything. I took the stairs. I didn't take the elevator. I don't want to get into some of these $10 million deals, and I wasn't fully equipped to handle that type of capital. Not saying I'm not now. Not saying I haven't before, but I'm just saying that you need to take time on building the person that is going to be the billionaire, or the millionaire, or the multimillionaire, or the multi-billionaire. There's a lot of billionaires out here, and just because they're not on the Forbes list, that doesn't mean that they don't have that type of capital, that type of net worth. So you can't really look at it like that. Like, all these guys are millionaires. They might be millionaires on paper, but they're really actually billionaires. There are a lot more billionaires out here in the world that you know of. So I want you to know that those, it's cool to get those small wins. Like I said, when you're coming from a perspective of you coming from that certain type of perspective of using those small wins to build momentum and choosing long-term stability. But those fast results, you may have to sit back, think about what you're doing, and not just be so desperate when it comes to signing these contracts, or getting stuck in contracts, for the simple fact that you can take those easy contracts, you can get in collaboration, or get into a business partnership, or a contractual marriage, as your business marriage, as you should look at it as a business marriage, and it can totally end shamefully for you. And a lot of these individuals who do have these large amounts of capital, VC firms, not all the VC firms, but these individuals that are investors, not really just angel investors, but are investors, not really looking for equity, but they're just business loan sharks. You really want to be careful, because a lot of these individuals didn't get to where they are right now by just helping entrepreneurs chase their dreams or reach their fullest potential. So you have to understand that there's a lot of work that needs to be put in. You hate to get stuck in some of these contracts. So number 2, discipline and consistency. Discipline and consistency are the real competitive edge. And that's what you're going to learn when you just don't hop on some of these fast deals. You're going to learn about discipline. Even when you're moving forward, not taking these these deals and not getting to these contracts, it still costs you, because there are going to be a lot of things that you're going to try to do on your own. Not saying, when I mean on your own, that doesn't mean that you're at a place where you have no humility and you're not holding yourself accountable, and you're not saying that I don't need help. You're not saying those things. But what I mean is, there's a lot of things that you're going to make other people the last. They're not saying make other people the last result, but because you're going to need people along the way entirely, you know what I mean? And you're going to need a spiritual backing as well, you know what I mean? You're going to need God, you're going to need something, because all it takes is one jealous person to try to get in your way or destroy you, or take your name to some place, and you know what I mean, and try to destroy everything that you've built, just out of sheer jealousy. So you're going to need a spiritual backing as well. Maybe I may do an episode on that, on how everything starts spiritually. Business is spiritual. Every transaction down here on this earth is spiritual, from every money transaction, every conversation transaction, every transaction that we're having right here, me pouring this knowledge into your life, it's spiritual. So something within me, this has already happened in the spiritual realm of me doing this video before it came to this point. So, but we'll talk about that later. But discipline and consistency are the real competitive advantage. That's number 2. So discipline bursts consistency, and that's what a lot of people know. So discipline I would say vision and discipline are the parents of consistency. Discipline or vision and discipline are is the mother and father of consistency. It's hard to be consistent when you don't have a vision, you don't have any outline to follow, or a rough draft, or anything blueprint to follow, and then using discipline to make sure that you don't get distracted while chasing or fulfilling or executing the vision at hand. That causes you to be consistent. So I don't really rely on motivation. I rely on discipline, because motivation comes and goes. Sometimes I feel like, I feel like balling out. As I said, I mean that and chase my dreams, and I'm not talking about blowing the cash on shopping. But what I'm saying is sometimes I feel like I feel like the man when I walk through. I wake up feeling good, drinking coffee. I feel like I woke up in a high rise. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I woke up in one of the most beautiful places in the world, and I'm ready to give it everything I got. I feel like I don't have to worry about cash. I don't have to worry about employees. I just feel like I am here and I'm 100% ready to give it my all and execute at peak performance. But there are some days that I know that I don't feel like doing it, but it is something that needs to be done, and you cannot let your emotions control you. So motivation strokes your emotions, but discipline strokes your outcome. It really strokes or gives you that sense of stoicism and pride. I wouldn't say really just pride in a rough and rugged manner, in a demeaning manner where your pride demeans others. But I mean that it gives you that pride of knowing when I go to bed tonight, I feel good after doing things that I know that needed to be done. Even though I don't feel like I needed to do it, I go to bed with a different type of peace. So I really don't rely on motivation, but one thing I do is I stay consistent even during those slow seasons. You know what I mean? That's what really kept me in the game. So a lot of people say, man, this guy, some people see me and they're jealous. They don't know exactly where I come from. They don't know exactly the work that I put in to get to where I am now. They don't understand that, there's been a lot of attacks on my business, on my mind, on my finances and things like that. And just to still get up and still go every morning, understanding that you are on a mission to fulfill something that's bigger than yourself. See, a lot of times people will attack you. People will put these projections on you. Say, who do you think you are? This guy is this. This guy is that. This guy thinks he's this. They don't even understand the half of the story of why you're doing what you're doing. No one ever stopped to say, man, why are you chasing your dream so hard? And people really don't understand that this is bigger than me. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than myself. It's bigger than me wanting a big house or a nice car. It's bigger than that. This has to do with bloodlines and generations that will extend far beyond my death. That's why I'm doing it. This is not just for me, and this is just not for me to live a good life while I'm here on this earth. This is something and that's strategically put together to build wealth that will far exceed my existence here on this earth. And that's why I do it. If I have to have to go out there and I have to till the ground and plant the seeds and by the sweat of my brow and by my blood, sweat, and tears, if I had to break up the hard ground that was always limited my family and my bloodline, somebody has to put the work in so it won't be harder for the next generation. Either you're going to be the one that's going to break the generational curses and put the work in to create an avenue where your family and your kids can come through, or you're just going to sit down and just accept what everybody else is doing. So, I just chose and felt like that my plan and my purpose in life was not to just sit back and watch my family continue in poverty. And I feel like that was the purpose of why I'm here on this earth, but also to use that to help other people as well, whether it's knowledge, finances, or whether that's any type of guidance that I have or any type of wisdom that I have to push other people forward. So that's why. But I did stay consistent even in those slow seasons. So those slow seasons where the money wasn't moving as fast as I'm used to it moving, where, the connections aren't coming as quick, where people are looking, where you know exactly who you are, but people are misperceiving who you are. And it's causing a breakdown in communication. It's causing a breakdown in moving forward a project. So I even had different business partnerships that were in India, and it wasn't a communication issue. It was more of a communication issue based on someone not misunderstanding me, but not perceiving exactly who I am at my core, and understanding that I really had a genuine outlook on the building of this relationship. I really wanted things to move forward. I really wanted everything to benefit both of us, but because they've been burnt so many times, because they had trust issues, and even though they could see exactly who I am, that trauma killed that business partnership, or those past people. And then probably sometimes, maybe if I would have acted a little bit more ruthless, and that's what they're used to, and they're able to navigate that, navigate through that type of terrain. But this time they didn't have to navigate through that type of terrain. It's out here. Who I am, you would never. I'm not going to be another version tomorrow. I'm going to be the same person consistently trying to get better. I'm not going to be one guy one day and then another person the next day. I'm going to be consistently myself, authentically. And when I started to show up like that consistently, they started looking for like something's wrong. Like, maybe this has to be a fluke. So it kind of broke down the business partnership, even though at that time I felt like I really needed that partnership to stay afloat. But that taught me something. You don't. I still stayed afloat. I continue to move forward even without that investment, even in knowledge, or they had certain they had access to certain rooms and certain arenas that I didn't have access to at the time. But I wanted to get introduced to those different types of circles, and in return, I was going to even coach my partner on certain things that I knew, so I could bring them up to speed as being a C-suite executive in certain areas, of being knowledgeable in certain areas about the business that I had structured and that I have. And then in return, they would give me access to those rooms, and we would both benefit both of us, but that didn't work out. But, I stayed consistent even though through those seasons. But I've seen firsthand how daily execution compounds over time, even when it feels like nothing is happening. So it's going to be times where you feel like nothing is happening, like I'm spinning my wheels, but you still have to. There is always something happening. That's why I want you to know. There is always something happening. I don't care if you feel like nothing's happening. If you, I'm going to give you this analogy as a house. It could be a brand new mansion by the lakeside, or by wherever, seashore. It could be a brand new mansion, but I'm going to tell you, something is always happening. If no one lives in that house, and that house is built and it's just sitting there, something is happening. That house is going to start to deteriorate. So when you're moving things, but you can't see it right there at the moment, but slowly but surely the bones of that house is going to start to deteriorate, because there's no life in it. There's no energy moving around in it. And that's the same thing about when you're putting the work in every day. You're not going to think anything is happening, but it is happening whether you believe it or not. Things are moving forward even when you believe it or not, and that's one thing I want to help you to understand. But I've seen firsthand how just doing things daily, it just compounds over time. So one day I may look into tax lien and tax deed investing, and that one day, I may continue to read up on it. I may continue to look up different county bids, and different county auctions and stuff, but I'm still compounding knowledge over time. I may look into day trading, but I'm still compounding knowledge over time. I'm not just looking at it one time and I'm just letting it go to waste, but I'm continually catching up and picking up on certain new things, even though it seems like, I've listened to this thing a million times. I've done this a million times, but those little bitty small things do compound over time. This is our last one, and this is vision, adaptability, and resilience keep you in the game. Vision, we just talked about vision. We just talked about how vision and resilience is the parents of consistency. But vision, adaptability, and resilience keep you in the game. So I keep a clear vision in front of me, so setbacks don't knock me off course. When you got a clear vision, setbacks don't knock you off. See, if you have no vision at all, once you get knocked, if you're doing things every day with no set blueprint, then you don't know where to go. So once you get sabotaged, or once something bad happens, or once a piece of equipment doesn't work the way you want it to work, then you're done for. you get knocked back to the point where you have to wait for your mind to start working again, or those creative juices to start flowing again for you to get back on track. But if you already have a vision and a blueprint of a plan of everything that you want to get done and how you need it done, then even when things you get set back, it's easy to get back on track when you can just look at the blueprint that you have. So if I was headed in a direction to, let's say, do Airbnb, I was headed in the direction to do Airbnb. We didn't get the subscription for AirDNA to spit out the facts and generate us a letter to send to a homeowner, and to basically tell this homeowner, hey, you know what, man, you have a property that's sitting here. You want let's say $3,000 a month for this certain apartment or this property, but don't you know we can get that $3,000 a month within 1 week, man. We can just Airbnb out the place. We can show when the peak seasons for when people are coming in for the holidays to Manhattan. We can send this homeowner this data sheet to let them know that if they go with us and go with our company, they can make a lot more money than $3,500 a month or $4,200 a month. You can make that within 2 weeks if you let us be the leasing agent or the property manager for Airbnb for this property, and you give us a cut. We will manage this property for you through Airbnb, and you will make $4,000 within 2 weeks. You won't have to make a month, so you can double what you're looking for. So, but you have to have. You can get knocked off course if you get a couple denials. You can get knocked off course if you get sabotaged. Maybe someone you're working with, your business partner, burns you on a deal and starts their own company. You never know, but that's where adaptability comes in. First, to start with vision, so you can always get back on the horse. But adaptability means this: that even if something doesn't go right, you understand that there's another outlet there's another pathway to. I'm gonna show you what adaptability is. Adaptability is I'm leaving New York and I'm going to London. I'm leaving New York and I'm going to London. Okay. Don't you know that if the plane gets canceled to London, there's always another way. You can probably take a train. You can probably take a boat. There's different just because one avenue gets shut down doesn't mean that there's still not another way to execute or to get to where you need to go. And that's how you need to look at adaptability. When one business partnership falls through, when your IT guy, and one of the most important projects of building a website, you just launch a store, before you launch a store, you want to get the foundation all together. You already have the business plan. You already have bought all the products. You already have the leasing agreement to the business. You have already bought all the equipment, put it inside the business for the consulting firm. But you have an IT guy who's supposed to build the website. You paid for the guy, he's on contract, and then he just disappears. You don't know where he is, and this is one of the most important things. The thing is, you have to be adaptable, and that's not really something real big to be adaptable about. But I hate to go so far and beyond, because some of you guys probably haven't even made it to this level of business, or learned about these certain things, or about different mergers and certain, so we're not going to go that far. Mergers and acquisitions when it comes to business. So some people that's on this channel is really started for up and coming entrepreneurs, people that really want to step into entrepreneurship. So you don't really know about mergers and different acquisitions when it comes to finances, and when it comes to making a company go public. Wanting the company to go public, you don't really know about stocks and selling your shares and buying shares of a company, and and how to take a company public from being a private company. You don't really know about setting up a board of directors. Now some of you guys do that listen to this, but I'm just saying it. But just being flexible from something small, like your customer service rep, wasn't went off script, and made you lose a customer, you lose a client that was a very good client, a high paid client, So, and that's something that you probably won't be able to bounce back from as someone who's representing the company. And they're just like, man, so do you still have to be adaptable and be flexible? You cannot let that stunt your growth or stop you from moving forward. You may have to discipline that customer service rep, or fire them, replace them, try to repair the relationship with the client. But even if you cannot replace the relationship with the client, you use everything that you had in order to get that client. Use it. There was other high ticket clients out there as well that you can still use that same sales pitch, that they will be able to identify with your story. They'll be able to identify with your products and your branding, and hopefully not only one but two or three more high ticket clients you'll be able to bag. But your vision, adaptability, and resilience keep you in the game. Like I said, that I learned how to adapt when things change without losing sight of the bigger picture. Resilience has been key for me. That's one thing I want to know. Resilience has been key for me. Every obstacle taught me how to move smarter, not quit. So that's the whole thing about resilience. It teaches you how to move smarter. There's always purpose within the pain. There's always purpose within the setback. There's always something that you can look and see that, how do I move smarter in this situation? How can I be adaptable and flexible when it comes to certain obstacles that come in? But that doesn't mean that, okay, you're tired, you're going through all these things that you just give up and quit. It means that, how do I move smarter? If I feel like someone is watching me at this certain level, or watching me do these certain things, how do I move in a smarter manner where, I can still execute what I need to execute without quitting? So maybe you need some more sleep. Maybe you're only getting 6 hours of sleep, just running on 6 hours of sleep. Maybe you need to do a split shift. Maybe you need to work from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And then, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. and then from 10 a.m. To 4 or 5 p.m. Maybe you need to split your shifts. So you, instead of just getting up in the morning and you're up from 3 a.m. and working clearly till 9 p.m. at night, maybe you can, you can split up what you need to do, and you can still get done exactly what you need to do. So you can just work smarter and not harder. So you just have to figure out what works best for you, and that will help you stay resilient. So, like I said, man, this is the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. This is a place where we give the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and visions. This episode is called Winning in the Long Game. It's okay to get those small wins, but you have to get small wins that compound over time when and use as stepping stones to fulfill and execute on the bigger vision or the bigger purpose of why you're doing what you're doing. So we had 3 points here. The first point was short-term wins don't equal long-term success. Number 2 is discipline and consistency is the real competitive advantage. And number 3, vision, adaptability, and resilience keep you in the game. So we see you guys back here next Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come here live from New York City. Peace.